Feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hey everybody, welcome to the post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank. Today we had some great guests. I'll bring in just a second, Matt and Chelsea. They came all the way here from Denver, opening up our Oxygen offices. They are just an example from entrepreneurs because they both left the world of being a W-2 and became entrepreneurs, and they are crushing it right now. And that's the spirit of what we talk about in all of these post-show wrap-ups is the entrepreneur. How do you start and grow and run a business? This, on these videos, is where you get your MBA in street smarts and book smarts. This is what we do every single week right here on the Shrimp Tank. Make sure while you're watching this, click the subscribe button. This way you get all of the great videos in your inbox. And make sure that you click that notifications bell. Without doing that, you aren't going to know when the videos go live. We have roughly 1,000 videos on the Shrimp Tank YouTube website, all sorts of entrepreneurs in all shapes and sizes. Watching this will be much better than you taking some course and becoming an MBA as an entrepreneur. Now, thanks for coming on the program today. And I wanted you to tell folks just to begin with who are starting a business, what's the biggest thing they need to be thinking about if they're going to move from being a W-2 into becoming somebody that's a 1099 or starting their own business?
I think the most important thing is having a plan of how you're going to make that transition. Obviously, when I started the business, I left a very profitable wealth management practice where everything was taken care of, everything was paid for. And then day one, when I stepped into our Oxygen office, I had 0 clients and 0 revenue and money was going out the door. But I had a plan on how long it was going to take me to become profitable. And I had a plan on exactly what I need to do to get to that point. So I think the most important thing is just knowing when you're going to be able to get to that point where you'll be comfortable financially.
And the mindset can change a little bit here because most people in a W-2 job are constantly thinking about cash flow. Sometimes they get company stock, but they often don't have this idea of thinking about equity. And I know you did a great thing in here, and both you and Chelsea are equity owners in this business. So Chelsea, I wanted to ask you, how do you think about the business and of being an equity owner now, where one day you might be able to sell this business for a lot of money?
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a game changer. I have some skin in the game, so I feel, even more so obligated to, make sure that we're successful, that I'm putting in the extra work. I always felt that way, but more so now than before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy thing because when you think about that long-term equity, it's such a difference, and sometimes you may take a hit cash flow-wise, but in the long term, it'll work out a lot better. That's why the wealthiest people in America, for the most part, are entrepreneurs. Now, Matt, I wanted to know, you are one of the top elite endurance athletes in the United States. A lot of people don't know this about you, but you just completed the Leadville 100, which is literally one of the hardest races in the world. You have to run 100 miles at an elevation of what? How many feet? 10,000?
10,000 feet plus.
10,000 feet and do it in under 30 hours. But I'm wondering, what have you learned from being an endurance athlete that applies to financial planning, and what kind of lessons that can help people think about how they can do better with their money?
Well, I think the most important thing is you want to have a plan. You can't just decide to show up and run a 100-mile race. So, I hired a coach who is very experienced at what they're doing and laid out a very, detailed, long-term plan for me to get to race day where I felt very confident in finishing. And I think working with an advisor is really no difference. You talk to that advisor, you have a long-term plan. He or she is your coach, and then they set out the things that you need to do to get to that point. And then most importantly, it's discipline. You have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and run 10 miles. You have to run 5 hours on a Saturday. These are things that you're going to have in your financial success. You're going to have that discipline to save that money. You're going to have that discipline to ride out a market correction. Those things are not easy, and having a coach or an advisor makes it a lot easier.
So I think I'd be remiss in about doing a post-show wrap-up in Denver and Colorado without asking this question. I know you think you know what I'm going to ask in here, but for people that are watching, where do you think is the best place to go skiing in Colorado? There are so many famous places where people go skiing. What do you think is the best? Because you live there.
Steamboat is a fantastic place. It's a little farther than Vail and Beaver Creek and Breckenridge, but it's truly a mountain town, and actually the snow there is actually some of the best snow in Colorado. So it's worth the extra hour drive to head to Steamboat.
What do you think, Chelsea? Do you have an opinion?
I've only been to a couple places, but Loveland was probably my favorite that I've been to.
Loveland.
Yeah.
There you have it. Steamboat and Loveland. I was at Vail once. It seemed nice. People say it's nice, but these may be better. This is where you hear it from the locals. How can folks that are watching the post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank today get in touch with you if they need financial advice, business advice, tax planning, insurance, or any of those kind of needs?
Real simple. Just Google Oxygen Boulder and we'll come up, or Matt Goldstein on LinkedIn, and you will easily be able to find us.
Well, thanks for coming on the post-show wrap-up today. And folks, I hope you're inspired from seeing these videos, because the answer of leaving that W-2 job to become some sort of entrepreneur, when to do it, the answer is always now. At some point, you've got to make that leap in order to improve your financial, your emotional, your family's future overall. Make sure that you check out all of our other amazing videos right here on our YouTube channel. A couple weeks ago, we interviewed the CEO of MovieCom. Have you ever thought about how to use movie clips to not only motivate yourself, but motivate all of the employees in your company? Check out MovieCom. It's pretty cool. CEO Scott DiGiamarino. You will learn a lot, and that is your post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.